You are driving home. It's been a long day. The highway is a parking lot. You inch forward for 20 minutes, your brain screaming about wasted time. Finally, you see it. Flashing red and blue lights, twisted metal, glass glittering on the asphalt. And suddenly, your anger evaporates. You and everyone else in the surrounding cars slow down to a crawl. Your head turns. Your eyes lock on. You are looking for bodies. But the real answer is far stranger than morbid curiosity. You are not a bad person. You are an ancient human running a survival program that hasn't been updated in 300,000 years. A program that hijacks your focus the moment it detects a negative outcome for another human being. Your brain is not gawking at a car crash. It is harvesting data from a deadly encounter to keep you alive. You just don't know it. To understand why you cannot look away, you have to strip away the glass, the steel, and the asphalt. Replace it with the tall grass of the African savanna. Your ancestor walks carefully through the brush. The sun is blinding overhead. Suddenly, the figure walking 10 feet ahead of her simply vanishes. No scream, no roar, just a puff of dust and the rustle of a predator dragging a body into the thicket. Your ancestor did not run away screaming. She froze. She stared intensely at the exact spot where the disappearance happened. She was rubbernecking. Psychologists call this survival mechanism threat simulation. Dr. Steven Pinker and a host of evolutionary psychologists argue that the human brain is not a neutral information processor. It is a fortress designed to foresee danger. The only way to foresee danger is to study it up close when it happens to someone else. If you run away from a lion attack without looking, you survive the next 5 minutes. But if you stare at precisely how the lion ambushed the prey, how it moved, and where it came from, you survive the next 50 years. Your brain is wired to risk the former for the reward of the latter. Consider the neuroscience of what happens when you see a car wreck. Visual data, specifically movement, contrast, and bright colors, hits your thalamus in 12 milliseconds. Colored lights and crushed shapes are high contrast anomalies. Your ancient brain screams one thing: pattern mismatch. The world is supposed to look orderly, and this scene is chaos. But your amygdala doesn't know it's a traffic accident. It only registers the potential for threat and reward. This is called the negativity bias. Dr. John Cacioppo's research showed that your brain's electrical response to negative stimuli is significantly stronger and faster than your response to positive stimuli. A mangled car receives more neural processing power from you in half a second than a beautiful sunset receives in an hour. But you aren't just staring, you are memorizing. A study from the University of Montreal by Dr. Mathieu Roy demonstrated that witnessing painful events activates the anterior cingulate cortex and the anterior insula in the observer. This is the same pain matrix that fires when you are sent a shock yourself. Your brain is biologically incapable of distinguishing between a threat that touches your body and a threat that your eyes report to you. You are feeling a faint, ghostly version of that car crash victim's trauma, and your brain wants that pain. It wants to store that sensation in your long-term memory so effectively that you never, ever make the steering mistake that led to that pile of metal. This is where the phenomenon takes a dark social turn. Your brain doesn't just want to learn from the crash, it wants to gossip about it. In a hunter-gatherer tribe, seeing a tribe member eaten by a crocodile was useless information if you kept it to yourself. The survivors were the ones who ran back to the campfire and narrated the horror in vivid, emotional detail. We evolved to be a species of storytellers, specifically to simulate danger for the brains of our kin, without them having to be physically present for it. Dr. Robin Dunbar's research on social bonding reveals that early human conversation was not small talk about the weather. It was social grooming through information exchange about predators. High-emotion gossip about who died, how they died, and where they died was the original breaking news. This ancient social imperative is why, when you finally pass the car crash, you feel a physical impulse to call your spouse. You feel a need to text your friend. The urge to say, "Terrible accident on the I-5, be careful," is not modern courtesy. It is the vocalization of a primate who just witnessed a predator successfully take down a member of an adjacent troop. You are sounding the alarm. Here is the cruel twist in the modern equation. There are no longer any lions in the tall grass. But your technology has weaponized this instinct against you. The 24-hour news cycle and social media algorithms are not designed to inform you. They are designed to constantly feed your amygdala the high-contrast danger signals it craves. The reason you scroll through horrific news at midnight, unable to look away from disaster footage, is because the algorithm has replaced the savannah. It provides a digital, infinite scroll of threat simulation that your brain cannot switch off. It is called mean world syndrome. Your ancient brain assumes that the frequency of danger you see is a representation of the danger that actually surrounds you. You end up feeling trapped in a terrifying world, even while sitting safely on your couch, because your visual diet is 1,000 wrecks a day. But what about the disgust? When you see the wreck, you might feel your stomach turn. You might flinch. That is not a design flaw. That is the final lock in the system. Disgust is an adaptive emotion for disease avoidance. Psychologist Dr. Paul Rosen theorized that disgust is a guardian of the mouth and body. But in witnessing an accident, disgust becomes a teacher. The visceral nausea you feel ties a physical, somatic marker to the visual information. You don't just remember to drive safely. You remember the feeling of wanting to vomit when you saw the consequences of unsafe driving. The body weight of that emotion makes the lesson stick. You are being conditioned by your own chemical reaction. Look at the turtle-paced traffic as you drive away. It wasn't an accident causing the delay. It was human nature. It was millions of years of survival programming, forcing every driver to slow down and harvest the data. The person who looks away from the twisted steel and drives past at full speed is not a more decent human being. In strictly evolutionary terms, they are a reckless fool ignoring a free lesson on mortality. Your compulsion to look is the ghost of a watcher in the tall grass, staring at a spot where a friend just disappeared, memorizing the tracks, cataloging the clues, and arming themselves against the darkness. And as you finally accelerate away, glancing one last time in your rearview mirror at the chaos, you feel a strange, quiet relief wash over you. It is the ancient, undeniable confirmation that the tragedy happened to the car behind you, the other person, the different tribe. Your brain whispers the oldest thought in human history. This time, it wasn't me. This time, I am still safe.